I'm fashion journalist Allison Nieder, and I'm here with Andrew Ola and Aaron Barajas, and we're going to talk about the Kingpins website. I was the longtime editor of California Apparel News, and while I was there, that was when Andrew first launched the Los Angeles Kingpins show. And shortly after that, we hired Aaron to be the manufacturing editor. She broke a lot of really interesting stories about the cotton business. She took over and covered Kingpins for us. And then Andrew hired her away from me. And I certainly understand why. Aaron was a great asset at Apparel News and a delight to work with. So fast forward many, many years later, I called Aaron, was sort of brainstorming what kind of future I would have as a journalist. And one of the things that I said to Aaron was that I really saw companies and brands taking over some of the role of journalism. A company like a Kingpins that has a dedicated audience and has developed a trust can become an information source. And so at that point, Kingpins was already in the process of revamping their website. And so it was sort of a natural fit for me to come on board and help with that. Since then, we launched the website, we launched a newsletter, and we launched a podcast. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
It's a big introduction.
I think the biggest I've ever had.
Sorry. I did want to keep this conversational, but I meant between the three of us, not just me. So let's start out with Aaron. I mean, you've spent, we're trying to figure out how many years you've been at Kingpins, but you have sort of the insight. Tell me about how you joined Kingpins and sort of your understanding of what you and Andrew sort of had in mind with revamping the website.
Well, I met Andrew at my first Kingpins, where I bounded up to him and said, "Hi, I'm new. I need to learn all about denim." And for whatever reason, he took pity on me. And basically every time I saw him, it was like a master class in what was happening in the denim supply chain. He was my fact checker. If someone told me something that sounded a little weird, I'd call Andrew and he'd often call bullshit, which I really appreciated. You need somebody like that to help you out. And Andrew has always been like a big advocate in the denim industry and has always been very outspoken about some of the good things and the bad things that happen within the industry. And we always talked about how would those stories be told, because they aren't always the kinds of stories that editors will cover. They're often things that are very inside, but very influential and really matter in like sort of how the industry works. And that was always something that Andrew was very attuned to. So when we started talking about me maybe joining Kingpins, he always promised me, he was like, "I'll get you back to writing." The deal was I joined as a producer of the show and I did the LA and the New York shows. And basically what I was doing was Andrew was mentoring me, teaching me all about the denim supply chain and sort of learning the true guts of it so that later I would be prepared to really talk about it. And so writing about the denim industry and covering it from an insider perspective and a very honest perspective and a very sort of clear-eyed perspective was always part of the plan. And periodically it would come up and Andrew would say, "We're going to do it. We're going to do it." And last year we did it. We started talking about, okay, now we're ready. You know, we had a perfect team set up. Kingpins was running smoothly, and it was time to sort of take the next step and really start covering the denim industry, and also give Andrew a like a more permanent place to air. It sounds terrible, not air his grievances, but basically talk about the industry as an insider, as a veteran, as a expert. And so that's what we've done. Andrew looks thrilled about it.
This might be a good time to talk a little bit about the analytics and a little bit about some of what we cover on the Kingpins website. So since Kingpins launched, we have nearly 58,000 unique page views. The newsletter has a very dedicated following. We've got about a 16% open rate. And that really speaks to that focus that Kingpins has, that really dedicated inside denim audience that's engaged, that already talks to each other, but needs to have sort of a a central point for information. So that's sort of what Aaron and I have thought about in terms of the editorial. So, we want industry news, we want company profiles, and we're in the process of launching more retail profiles, those sort of things, just sort of covering all of the industry globally. But one of our most popular stories have been Andrew's letters to the industry. And this goes back to sort of the information that Aaron was getting way back when. So Andrew, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about having the opportunity to really talk to the denim audience through these letters. These are you. We come to you and we're like, we have a founder's letter coming up, and you were like, I have an issue I really need to discuss. So I wanted to talk to you a little about those letters and sort of your perspective on the industry.
How many have we done?
3.
3. So this is a 3-time subject. So so far. It's like we haven't really done anything. It's like celebrating a marriage. I'd rather celebrate after the 10th year anniversary. What we want to do, and what Aaron knows we wanted to do for a long time, is that we're denim people. We're in the business, and who better than us to go out and talk about what's going on? And one of the things that always kind of, I can't say disturbed me, but it was always kind of weird, was like outsiders writing about the industry, sort of like you're going to write about hockey, but you've never played hockey. Or you're going to write about, skiing, but you've never been on a mountain. So it's interesting, and you can do a lot with that. But actually, a person who had actually put his thoughts to a pen and was actually playing hockey would also be really interesting read. So we really thought that the industry had a hole, a little teeny hole, because there's so many good people out there already, but a little teeny hole for people in the industry to express themselves, whether it's me or we invite other people. Hopefully other people will also want to participate, who like to write and would like to express themselves.
One of the things when I was at Apparel News that I would always tell new writers is that they needed to get out and tour a factory or go to a dye house or just somehow be in it, because you're right, there's a disconnect. If you're just talking to somebody on the phone or you're only meeting in the showroom, you're not really seeing the process, and you're not seeing how it's made, and you don't have a full understanding. And by actually like setting foot in the factory, or I've gone to tour cotton fields, without setting foot and talking to the people who do the daily work, you're not quite getting the whole story. So I definitely see.
That's why I wanted Erin to actually produce Kingpins, because I wanted her to meet our exhibitors when they're angry, because they didn't get what they want, and I wanted her to meet the customers when they got splashed with wine. I wanted her to see the business the way it is, not just to roll in, look at it, and go, "This is cute," and walk out. I mean, I wanted her to be the center of the complaint department. And you're in there, then you actually have a different vision of what actually is going on. And so that's really where I think, when I was thinking about doing editorial writing or having content on our website, this is really what I was hoping that we could express, the inside struggle, but really are real.
We were talking earlier, Andrew, about how Kingpins is you're not just a real estate company. You're not just selling booth space. You're sort of living it alongside your exhibitors. So if you can sort of elaborate on that.
Well, we're as I said, we're industry people. So we started the show to sell more fabric. So we're very empathetic to the idea of somebody paying money to come to an event to sell something. And we're very empathetic to the idea of a customer coming who needs to buy something and would like to see things. And then when we did that, and that's how we started. When we did that, that reached a certain kind of tipping point where actually when we started to do seminars, and Kingpins has always wanted to do seminars and always wanted to share industry education with the people that came to the show. As we started to do more of that, we thought that we had a chance to also have a valued opinion. People actually asked us our opinion, and that kind of surprised us at first. So the website is a natural extension of that whole process. Did I answer the question? Is that's the question?
You did answer the question. Thank you.
Okay.
Also, as it turned out, because of the current events, where we're not able to have a physical show, you were able to launch Kingpins 24, and we're in the process of preparing the second one, and that's the online event, not replacing the physical trade show, but just keeping the industry in touch with each other. And in that way, having a newly revamped website to be sort of a portal to Kingpins 24 turned out to be very fortunate, very well timed. So
we were unfortunate for 8 years not to have one when a lot of other things happened, but we were fortunate this time to have one.
And Kingpins 24 is, has been a huge traffic driver. People are used to coming to Kingpins on sort of a seasonal basis. They go to the New York show or Amsterdam or Hong Kong. And, they sort of stepped up and treated Kingpins 24 the same way. It's, it's mark your calendar, show up, gather information, go back home, keep working on your collections. We've also found, looking at the analytics, is that most people come to the website and they'll come straight to the homepage, scan all the headlines, which is fairly typical. If they go deep into the website, they're going to show pages, because that's how they know Kingpins. They want to find out what's happening in the show that they normally go to. Is there any news? Are there any updates? We added a news page in order to let people know that there's also this central hub for news as well. And along the same lines, Andrew, I wanted to talk to you about the store that you launched, which is also a link on our homepage, and who's the audience for that? What sort of products do you sell? And what we're hoping is that people start discovering the store as well as the news page.
Well, with my job, I had the good fortune to go to Japan in 1980 or 79. And I got a lot of chance in my life to travel to different places, Los Angeles, as amongst other places. And one of the things that I found when I traveled was that there were some awesome things made out of denim in different places. So there were, of course, amazing things. The first time I went to Japan, I found cookie gloves made out of denim, which blew my mind in those days, or keychains. Or I went to, in the mid 80s, I went to Japan and I saw Evisu. They had golf bags with jacquard denim and their logo. All these things. In Italy, they had all sorts of cute things made out of denim. And I thought, God, if you really wanted to see all the stuff that is around the world that's beautiful in denim, you'd have to spend thousands and weeks traveling. So why would there not be one store that would carry an assortment of really cute and wonderful things that love indigo, love denim? And so we had to wait a long time, and it was worth the wait. Now we have it. So really, we created a shop for anyone who loves indigo, that they can buy indigo oddities. We used to call it the Curiosity Shop, because they're indigo oddities. Who would think of doing a painting using, with making it about indigo dyeing? But we do carry many, many, many products that are indigo centric, and especially books. I think we have, 40 something books on it. I spent my life reading and looking and hunting for books, and they're all on, basically all of them are on our website. And so, in our shop. So I think that the idea of the store was to express the width, the bandwidth of all the different products that can exist. And we're not even halfway where we should be, of things that people could buy and from their homes, regardless of where they're from.
Another thing that I wanted to talk about was the podcast, which was an idea that I brought to Aaron. And I have to say, I really love the podcast.
You're awesome. You're really good. And this is not to sound like we're congratulating each other, but your podcasts are really good.
Thank you. I mean, it's such a nice opportunity to sit down with somebody and hear their story and sort of get into their perspective in a way that, if it was a print story, it would be, a New Yorker length, 5,000 word print story. There's sort of an intimacy of talking to people through the podcast. And right now, we recorded a bunch of them at the last Kingpin show in New York. And now we're also turning some Zoom calls into podcasts. And I am really hopeful that we will eventually be able to get back together so that we can have sort of this one-on-one podcasts in person with great audio. So I'm marking my calendar for that. Also, Andrew, I wanted to ask you, what can you talk about as far as your plans for the future of the website?
Well, I mean, the website has holds a lot of hope for us. Even before COVID, we were like really excited about it. I think clearly COVID increased the interest on the buyer side to having an online entity. So we're doing all of our textile division is doing all of their presentations, virtually. And from what I can tell, they're successful. Some of the presentations are successful. And so that means that it's possible to actually sell something and show something virtually. So that means that there should be theoretically a kind of shopping mall somewhere where all the different mills could show their products and customers could come, in their pajamas at 2 o'clock on a Sunday morning if they got a project for Monday morning, where they can prepare for it and download the product and download the PDFs and have all their things ready by 3:30 in the morning. They can go back to sleep and get some rest. I mean, this is really a huge opportunity for the Kingpins show, and hopefully we can do that. And then we're also really interested eventually in having a job section. We're interested in, well, there's lots of things. I can't say them all because some of them are strategic, but the industry's changing, and if you're in the middle of it, you can actually help the industry by having more product offerings because people are coming there anyway.
Right. Right. I think we were calling it a hub, sort of a denim hub, where all of the necessary information is there.
We hope so. We hope one day that someone would say that. That would be great.
Working on it.
Well, I thank you both for spending the time with me. It's always nice to see you both. Someday it will be in person.
I bet the next time we all meet, we will all go for dinner together. It won't be like, not next time. Because we realize that there might not be a next time. So hopefully we do that.
We should say the website name.
Kingpinshow.com.
Kingpinshow.com.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.